You're listening to 8158 Stories of Sacrifice, where we honor the bravery of the first responders and the families who stand behind them. Real people, real stories, real heroes. This is 8158.
Welcome back to another episode of 8158 Podcast, Stories of Sacrifice. Today's guest, we have Packy. He is a veteran, and also he wrote a book, it looks like.
Yes, sir.
It's called The Fast 4 Seconds. Now, out of your career in your military, have you served in law enforcement or anything like that?
I'm retired Sergeant J. Packy Dempsey. I did 25 years as a police officer and did 6 years in the state of Alabama National Guard as an MP.
Okay. That's pretty awesome. And we thank you for your service. So could you explain to me, let's go back to your childhood and what caused you to want to serve in the United States Armed Forces?
Long legacy. The families on both sides, mom and dad, we've got pictures of them all the way back to Civil War to all the conflicts all the way up to World War II. My dad served in Korea, and I almost missed out on the chance to go. I was wanting to further my career, and I thought I'll just join the National Guard, carry on the legacy, and it'll help me pay my way through college.
So you have a long legacy. I mean, my family, obviously, we do have a long legacy ourselves. On my dad's side, my grandfather served in World War II as a Marine. My uncle, Frank, he was a Marine in Vietnam.
Wow.
My brother was a Marine just after Desert Storm. And then my cousin, Bill, he was in the National Guard in Michigan, and he did 3 deployments in Iraq. He was a part of Iraqi Freedom. Yeah.
That's right.
And he was a 13-year veteran with the Hillsdale County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
So, and plus on my mother's side, my grandfather was in World War II as well. He was in the Army.
Right.
And then
Hoorah.
my step-grandpa, he was a detective in Berkeley, California.
Okay.
We have a long history with that. I myself have not. I ruined my chances with going into the Guards. My plan was going in the Guards and then enlisting in the Marines afterwards, just to follow that tradition. But I was just too much of a knucklehead.
Well, it ain't for everybody. It's only a small percentage of people can actually pass the background, physical, psychological tests. I mean, it's minuscule how many people can actually make it through basic training, AIT. I mean, that makes them a hero right there.
Yeah. I think I would have done pretty well. It's just that, I let a lot of things in my past get in front of me, and I allowed that to kind of guide my future in the wrong direction, unfortunately.
I'll tell you more about that in my story as the podcast goes.
All right. So you served in the military. Okay. Right. You were obviously in the National Guard, United States Army.
Yes, sir.
Alabama. And you, again, how many years did you serve?
I did 6 and then 2 standby. And I was actually very blessed because I was in law enforcement at the time. They put me as a commander's security, so I got a lot of good training that I'm able to move forward in my personal life. I've been a pastor security for over 30 years, and the military and police work taught me to what to look for and how to react.
Okay. And then after you served our country, you got into law enforcement specifically because you were an MP?
I started out in 1990. Well, actually, 1989 as a reserve deputy for Dallas County Sheriff's Office in Selma, Alabama, home of the 1965 racial marches. And after 3 years as a reserve, I went full time, and I did about 7 or 8 years. Stayed in good shape. Involved in a shooting, so I had a little time off work, and I went in to the National Guard. I did 17 weeks in Fort McClellan, Alabama.
Oh my gosh. And what was that like for you?
I loved the military, but I was also blessed with some very hardened, true soldiers that were drill sergeants. They weren't just going through a manual. They diverted from it sometimes and say, this is really what it's going to take for you to survive, or this is what it's going to take for you to be a great soldier. Don't be average.
Right.
So I loved the structure. I was the oldest one there. I was 30. The guys, 95% were 18 years old going into, because they wanted to carry a gun and couldn't carry a gun until they was 21, but the military lets you carry one a lot earlier than that.
Right. They start you young.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's amazing. We definitely thank you for your service. And did you enjoy being an EMP, or not EMP, an MP?
I did.
Excuse
I did.
me.
It was, it was a lot of attention to detail, which carried through my careers as investigators in different aspects of criminal and marine theft, and I was a training officer, and a lot of attention to detail. You're going in these third world countries, you're guarding your commander, and you had to learn to police in not only America but in other countries and see the signs that could possibly endanger the commander.
Exactly. I imagine tensions were high. What conflicts were you involved with as far as overseas?
We went to Honduras after Hurricane Mitch, and we secured a base there, and we stayed until we got it secure, and the Seabees came in and started building in the water supplies, and we came back, and we mostly stayed stateside during disasters. We would go into communities and direct traffic, and I would escort the commander around to the dignitaries or the politicians, and I was there for him during that. So my uniform had to look good. I had to look the part. Being in shape was very important, and I learned to keep my mouth shut. They don't
Right.
want to hear from you. So, but you learn a lot if you keep your mouth shut.
Right. You listen.
That's right.
You got to listen. And your service as a law enforcement in the civilian world, what was that experience like for you?
Well, I tried to go in at an early age. My dad discouraged me. He wanted me to work at the local paper mill, which was, really good money. I can't remember what it paid, but I started out as a deputy at $6.25 an hour, and somehow or another I made it through, raised some kids, got some grandkids, and learned a lot. Try to pass it along to the younger guys. I always expect the unexpected and never underestimate your opposition. I was told that the day I got hired by a guy with 35 years behind the job, and he was walking out the door with his little copier box full of things off his desk, and he just happened to catch me in the hallway and gave me that advice. Um, my heart and desire was canine officers, and I have been in canine for 22 years. I had six police dogs, anything from narcotics to cadaver to bloodhounds. I had worked a bomb dog my last tour with Bullet, it was his name. So my heart and passion goes out to A, the first responders, but B, the canine officers, because they're who gets called when SWAT's in trouble. So they're
Right.
always need to be vigilant and in shape and ready to do the job.
Exactly. Definitely got to be in shape, especially with, being a canine officer. We've yet to actually interview a canine officer specifically. I know we have a lot of officers and deputies that want to get into that side of the work.
I love to tell them how not to do it.
Not the
I mean, really, I made a lot of mistakes. I was coming in early when different breeds were coming in from Germany, and I raised mine from a dirt floor kennel at 6 weeks old. She saved my life more than once, and I wrote the book about her. It's called The Fastest 4 Seconds.
Okay.
Have you had time to look at my videos or anything?
Not yet. No, I've
Okay.
been
All right.
busy with the radio station and all this other stuff.
I get it, but I know about busy.
Plus, I work a full-time job, and then we do the podcast, and then we have another podcast, and then we have 3 radio stations that we DJ on. So
Me and you are brothers. You just don't know it. I may have several jobs, plus being a speaker and a book writer.
okay, yeah, that's pretty awesome. So you said your dog had saved your life. What was the situation where she had done that?
December the 7th, 1994, received that routine call to go to that high crime area on a abandoned Air Force base where they had put low income housing. They sent me by myself because everybody was literally tied up, and they knew I had a dog, so I didn't need 2 cars. Or at the time, the mentality that dog was there to assist me. I approached a crowd that had gotten multiple 911 calls for drug dealing, playing the radio, skipping school, disturbing the peace, get out, activate my camera that I had purchased myself from Sears. The cameras weren't really in our area at the time. They were in testing phases with the local municipality, but the county couldn't afford them. Activated my camera, asked the guys to leave. I knew almost all of them, and this one particular kid had between his finger and thumb a piece of plastic sticking out both sides, and I knew because I was assigned to a narcotics unit, I knew that to be crack cocaine. I went to pat him down. He wouldn't speak to me. I asked him his name several times. I asked him several questions. There was no response. He stuck the crack in his pocket, so I got consent to pat him down, reached in the pocket, he wasn't there. And I was puzzled, and I was like, what happened? I know I just saw him put it in the pocket. So I found a hole at the bottom of the pocket, so I pulled his pants leg out, shook it, the crack fell out, and he began to run. And I grabbed him by the arm and said, you're under arrest, relax. And he attacked me. He went for my weapon. We went to the ground. The other guys were coming in, yelling, saying, putting their hands under their shirts, that they were fixing to get involved. And I'd gotten donated to the sheriff's office this new thing that called a bailout system. And I just had it installed. I hit the bailout system. The dog came out. The crowd ran off. She knocked the suspect off of me. We stumble into camera view. As I'm cuffing him and radioing for help, he gets my weapon. I don't know it. Dog's giving him a hard time. She had just started some patrol work. It was her first actual deployment, and he pulled the weapon out and struck her because she was giving him such a hard time. He struck her in the ground, causing a stovepipe. He backed up and started pulling the trigger and telling me I was going to die. And it took me about 4 seconds to realize my gun was missing, and I had to apply deadly force. She went on to apprehend him again, and he turned his attention to her, and I went for a backup weapon. Fired 5 rounds, center mass, 21 feet, just like trained in the academy. I could see during the struggle an image of my wife and kids I carried on the dashboard of my truck, and I said, I'm never going to see them again, and somebody else is going to walk her down the aisle. I began to feel my instructor's voice on my neck. Are you just going to lay there? Are you just going to let him kill you? And I got up, fought back. Had I missed the 5 rounds, they would have hit the gang member standing behind him. So I was blessed that the bullet stayed on target. After a 1-minute struggle, because the statistics at the time, in a 45-second struggle or more, the officer lost his life. And I was I was in decent enough shape, but I had very little or no training from firing from the ground to how to handle somebody on the ground. Long story short, I approached the suspect. He ran off unaffected. I thought, wow, I missed. What in the world? I said, but he's got a gun, and I got to go. So I approached him. He turned around, tried to shoot me again. I realized that was my gun. The dog engaged. I was able to take the gun away, clear it like they trained us in the academy, turned around, had a few choice words with the guys. Whatever I said, kept them off, and the dog kept them off me. Went to the radio for 00, which is, in our area, it was called Officer Needs All Your Assistance.
So you called everybody.
Everybody. I was 300 yards from the trooper post, but it still took them a minute and a half to get to me because it was in a cul-de-sac, and they had to go out one gate, come in another gate, and so the cavalry came, took me to the hospital. I was questioned by the Alabama Bureau of Investigations and read my rights, and I'm like, "Why are you reading my rights? The guy tried to kill me." And I reluctantly signed the Miranda waiver, and he said, "First of all, I'm going to tell you all the shots are from the front." And I was like, "I know that." He goes, "Oh, no. Every witness we said, you shot him in the back." So got an attorney, waited on the grand jury. First grand jury tried to indict me, even though they saw the video, because it was poorly handled through the district attorney's office. But my attorney was a former district attorney, and he really knew how to knew how to do his job. And the second grand jury, around 6 months later, broke. They had voted 9 blacks and 9 whites to indict me. It took 12. So the second grand jury, they really got their act together. Alabama Department of Forensic Science put on state-of-the-art presentation, and I was able to return to work in about a year.
Man, that must have been very taxing and trying on you.
Well, they didn't really know what PTSD was in first responders at the time. It was a topic, but you couldn't really admit to it because they put you behind a desk. And so I only went through 4 counseling sessions, and 25 years later, I look back, and PTSD and multiple addictions reared their head and hit rock bottom. And I've been coming out of the hole ever since.
So how did that affect your mental health state?
I couldn't sleep. I would drink to numb the fact that all I dreamed about all night was losing a gunfight, or me and would walk my daughter down the aisle, and I could smell the guy still today. Loud noises and certain smells brings me back to that day. And so I would just drink, and that drink led to pornography, that led to extramarital affairs, that I almost lost everything that was dear to me, my family, my jobs. I almost lost my life, and it all came to a head, and I started getting help, and surrounded myself with 5 good men I talked to every morning at 5:30. Still do. And God saved me from that day. It's a pure miracle that the gun jammed. We took the gun to the firing range. The FBI, DEA, and all them that were involved, and they tried over 100 times to jam the gun, just like it was done on the video. It never jammed again.
God was definitely on your side.
Yes, sir, buddy. And
he was watching you.
In the book, I talk about multiple miracles there is no other explanation.
Yeah. It's got to be by God's graces that you're still here.
Right. I'm here to tell my story and talk to the future. I teach the fastest 4 seconds at academies and men's small groups. And I give several demonstrations of illustrations that brain, it boiled down to 4 seconds, but there was more preparation to it in the brain. Because I did train it, my brain was able to pull from it in a blink. And the stuff that I didn't train for, the brain couldn't make it up because it didn't understand. So I give illustrations of how daily rituals without fail will save you. And not only in just your life as a first responder, but in your marriage or in your job, you know, poor decisions, you get dismissed from the job in a blink. But it was more to it than that. There was some preparation before you made that bad decision, or the decision helped you, came to you.
But you made that decision and you came out on the other end. So that's definitely a blessing, And unfortunately, we had these, not we, but you specifically had people that were gunning for you and wanting to prove you to be the bad guy in that scenario.
First
Which
day,
obviously it was proven that you were well within your right and your means to stop the threat.
well, first day, the major papers had a picture of me and said, "Officer of the Year shoots teen in the back 5 times." And that was just made up stuff from the eyewitnesses. But, I had a history with those eyewitnesses, and during one of the grand jury hearings, they came down the stairs and busted him off and said, "You're going to jail because we told him you shot him in the back."
Yeah, when you lie in your statements, I mean, obviously they're all gang members, so of course they're going to lie.
Wannabe gang members.
Well, yeah, wannabes. Little wannabe gangsters, which, I've been told that a lot of times they're more dangerous than actual gang
structured
members because,
right.
they're more structured, and the wannabes are wild and crazy and are willing to prove themselves
or they
and
think
do
they
whatever
are.
it takes. Yeah. But, you talked about the fastest 4 seconds, and you wrote a book about this.
Correct. And
So let's talk about that book.
Book takes me all the way back to every chapter builds onto the next chapter that builds on and shows you at the last chapter where God had a plan and he saved me. Each chapter, he put people in my life, training in my life, dogs in my life, my wife in my life, my kids. And I couldn't have done it without them. And I didn't even realize it until after the book was wrote that I have something else I need to do, or God would have took me out a long time ago, and he had a chance to.
Mm-hmm.
During the fastest 4 seconds, it's kind of long, but it's a true story, and I'm able to document at a QR code at the end of each chapter. Takes you to more than 150 pictures and multiple videos, bios of witness statements and people that were interviewed during the book. There's pictures and bios of them, so you're able to take yourself to that day by pictures and videos. And it's been a struggle, but Dad always said anything worth doing is worth doing right the first time.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we took some time, and we speak. Speaking's actually the first time I spoke on it was 25 years. And trooper from the academy that arrived to the scene, it was a dear friend of mine. He said, "Hey, I need you to come speak." And I was like, "I got my butt kicked. I'm ashamed of that." And he's like, third call, he said, "I'm ordering you to come up here, and I think you need to tell your story." And I remember leaving that day thinking, okay, I feel a little better today. I did the right thing.
So now you speak to new up-and-coming officers?
I try to speak Officer Survival Week. I usually open it up first thing Monday morning and show them how things can change in a blink, but they can do something about it. And they have chosen one of the most honorable careers there is, in my opinion. And they are the best trained in the world. because they have those state-of-the-art training facilities, and these guys that have been through it are passing their knowledge down to them. It's up to them which way they take it.
Yeah. Sometimes it comes natural and sometimes it doesn't.
That's right.
I'm definitely glad that everything has worked out for you. So tell us about your speaking. Do you speak more than just to new recruits, or do you go out and do speaking at public events or anything like that?
Nope, no, I hadn't got that far yet. I've got some on the books, but God only gives me what I can, what I'll trust Him to handle for me, and
Right.
So it's building. So right now, I probably speak to more individuals than I do groups. Get that phone call from that sheriff or chief that says, "Hey, my officer was involved in this. Would you talk to him?" And that means a lot. That makes me feel like I'm doing God's mission.
Right.
We will return after this quick ad break.
The William H. Bill Butler Jr. Foundation is on a mission to honor first responders and support those who serve. We provide scholarships for families who have lost a hero in the line of duty, offer second chances to juvenile offenders who are working to rebuild their future, and help new recruits pursuing careers as first responders. Through generous donations and the sale of merchandise, we're building a community that uplifts, empowers, and creates lasting impact. You can be a part of this mission as well. Visit 8158podcast.com to donate or shop today. Together, we can support those who serve, honor those we've lost, and give hope to those who need it most. Behind every badge is a story, and behind every story is a sacrifice. This is the 8158 podcast, where we honor the lives and legacies of first responders and their families. If our mission speaks to your heart, if these stories move you like they move us, join us on Patreon. For just $5 a month, you'll get ad-free listening, exclusive merchandise, behind-the-scenes content, and video episodes only available to our patrons. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, and you can be a part of it. Support us at patreon.com/8158podcast. Let's continue to share the stories that deserve to be heard.
And you had spoke about something earlier on about heading down the wrong path. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Sure. As I may have mentioned before, the not sleeping, then they had just prescribed me Ambient. I woke up one morning and my jogging clothes were wet in the floor of the bathroom. I was fully dressed. Did a PowerPoint presentation for the next day, had no recollection of it. So I had to get off of that. They've tried multiple things, and we've narrowed it down to one that helps me sleep without the hangover. And sleep started going from sleep to dreaming, bad thoughts, of gun to my head, gun firing, gun not firing. And I began to drink. That was the only thing that would make it go away. And drinking led to pornography, and it started deteriorating my marriage, and then inappropriate relationships. My mind seemed to always have to stay busy to stay off that 4 seconds, that 1 minute struggle in 4 seconds of a deadly encounter, and began to work my way out. It's a process, and it didn't happen overnight, buddy. But it didn't go away overnight either. And the number one denominator is God. And number two is I had to make a decision. There's help out there. There's the best training, the best psychologists. There's help out there, but you have to make that decision. I am going to change today, and I'm here to tell you I'm not that guy anymore. That guy's dead.
Yeah.
And sometimes I look back at something I did and I go, wow, what were you thinking? What was going on? And then I'd realize, oh, well, I'd had a bad dream that night, which, led to this addiction, that addiction. And I had a wonderful wife who didn't give up. So, and married off my oldest daughter, who gave me the biggest blessings I've ever had, and that is grandchildren.
Oh,
So I have to do it for them.
yeah.
You got to do it for yourself. No, I don't want to leave a legacy, and
Right.
and I want to be in shape enough, mentally and physically, to be there for the grandkids, and give my daughters breaks, and be trustworthy. I had to build all that back because I blew it.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, we find that a lot, when there's situations or often involve shootings, a lot of our guests, they fall off the deep end because they
And you
have
don't
nowhere to
realize it.
turn.
It's
Yeah.
just
It's just
there's
gradually.
places, there's places to turn. You just have to make that decision and say,
Mhm,
I'm not going to be that guy anymore or that girl.
exactly. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and we're trying to help to break the stigma with the mental health aspect of
I
things.
love that saying. I love that
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, and that's what we're working towards. Is we're trying to help first responders and back them to help break that stigma and
Sure.
bring the mental health aspect to light, because it happens to everybody.
Well, it takes people like Dave Grossman and Sergeant Michael Surge to step out and say, just like I did, and just tell the truth. This is where I went with it. I don't think you want to go there. Take this
Mhm.
path, and I'll walk with you. It says in the Bible, 2 cords are fine, but 3 cords are even stronger.
Yep.
So I surround myself with people that are better than me, who I allow to get into my life, and I allow them to say certain things that someone else doesn't have the right to.
Right. Yeah, we did interview Michael Segru. He's from Walnut Creek, California. He
That's
wrote
it.
the book. Yep.
He wrote I read the book. I listened to the book, did a review on it. Actually felt I was there. It was
Yeah.
so impactful. I started getting angry. I'm driving down the road and I'm talking to the radio, and I look around. I'm like, I'm there. I'm with Michael, and we correspond.
Yeah, I like Michael. He's an awesome guy, and he had a great interview.
Yeah.
You might want to check that out.
Oh,
on
I
the
already
podcast.
have. I stalk him. Yeah, he's my mentor. I stalk him and Dave Grossman. They just don't know it. They never met me. They just know me. I'm somebody on the other end of a social media like.
Another one you might want to check out is Captain Adam Myers.
I don't recognize it.
He was in an officer-involved shooting before he became a captain, and he went down the same path. He actually lost his job.
Okay. I will definitely, when we get off this, I'm going to look him up and reach out to him. So
Yeah, I got to listen to the 911 call from the dispatch. And he was well within his right to do what he had to do, but the mental health part of it really affected his job, and nobody supported him.
What the civilians don't understand, they may see, 2 to 6 traumatic events in their life. These officers are sometimes up, 500 or 600 in their career, and sometimes it's from call to call.
Yeah, like one after the next.
That's right, and they don't have time to process that,
Right.
And it takes a mental toll on you.
Yeah. I imagine.
I've always said cops are different. They're just firemen too. They're just different people. I mean, everybody else runs from gunfire or the fire in the house, but we roll forward. And that right there tells you we won't loan you $5, but we'll go in there and save your life.
But as far as Captain Adam Myers, he actually turned his life around again and got out of that. And he's actually working for a department that supports what he does. And he was promoted to captain.
dream job. I'm glad, he's
Yeah.
listening. God's guiding his path, and he's listening. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. He runs a great support group for people, and not just for first responders, but for everybody. And that, I think it's a pretty awesome thing. He's a really cool guy. I like him. He had a good presentation on the podcast, and he had all kinds of props and stuff. That was kind of
yeah,
fun.
all my props are behind me there. So that's all I got.
Yeah, accommodations and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we see it a lot. We hear about it a lot, and it's like it's almost identical. And that's why it's important for us to help break that stigma.
That's right. And I don't mind sharing what happened and the truth, and because I'm just hoping I reach that one and save that one.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that we do, so if you have anybody listening that is a first responder, is we are connected with trauma-informed therapists and also people that run organizations that help first responders and veterans for free. So you go to their organization and they help you out for free.
That's right.
With your mental health stuff. So we get connected with them so that we can refer our guests to them, especially if they're going through it.
I went through the class, Saving Heroes. It's on Facebook, and it opened my eyes on a few things I had actually forgot about, and I needed to unpack them. And built a relationship with a guy that was assigned to me. The algorithm put us together with my past experience in careers and in life choices, and I respect the man because he didn't hold nothing back. He let me know this is how I felt, and I let him know that
Yeah.
I'd be learning from that.
Right. Yeah. Was that healingthehero.org? Or
That's
was
it.
that
Yeah.
Okay.
Healing
Yeah.
Hero. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I did a few sessions with Dan Jarvis.
That's who I got.
Yeah. He's
Dave.
a former
No,
veteran.
I was Dave. Was my guy.
Yeah. Dan Jarvis is the founder of healingthehero.org. He is a veteran and a former deputy
All right, we're gonna have to
sheriff out of
hashtag.
Florida.
We're gonna have to hashtag him in this so they know we gave him a little shout out.
Yeah, I'm always giving him a shout out. I like that guy. He's pretty awesome. And we are connected with other organizations as well. One is QRF Up. It's an app, and if you download the app, and if you're in trouble or if you're going through a crisis, you just hit the app, and then they connect you with a therapist. Or if you are in danger, they send help.
There you go.
So we try to be more proactive than just interviewing people.
That's
Because
right.
we really genuinely want to help. And what better way to honor my cousin's life than to help his brothers and sisters in need?
I'm blessed that I can talk the talk with military, and that opens a lot of doors because I've been there, and opened a lot of doors because I was, in law enforcement for so long.
Just wanted to give you a little bit of background about the reason why we started this is because obviously we had a tragic situation happen in our family, which my cousin was a sheriff's deputy for 13 years. His name was Bill Butler Jr., and we started a foundation in his honor. He retired from the National Guard after 20 years, and he was a realtor on the side and also a deputy. He loved being a deputy. He loved serving his community. He loved serving his country. There was a call with a suspect who they were having, two deputies were having a struggle with. He was responding to that call, and this is in a rural area. 10 seconds after he showed up on scene, after the struggle ensued, the suspect pulled the gun and fired one shot, and it struck my cousin right in the neck, into the head, because he was on the ground firing upwards. And unfortunately, he lost his life immediately in 10
That's
seconds.
terrible. That's terrible. So
Going through all that with 3 deployments. He was a staff sergeant, and he had 3 deployments. Plus, he was in Iraqi Freedom, and then being a sheriff's deputy. I mean, an entire life, 5 kids, 2 older kids. He adopted one, and the other one is.
I understand.
Yeah, 51 years old.
Talk about that in the fastest 4 seconds. It can go in a blink.
But that's why we started this podcast. 8158 was his badge number.
I wondered. I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. The 81 is county, and the 58 was the deputy number. That's his badge number is 58. So they refer to it as 8158, county deputy.
You're doing great work, buddy.
So we're working on it, and we're trying to get, our first responders connected to people and helping promote, guys like you and the things that you've done and sharing your message with people, because you have a message that needs to be shared, and other officers need to hear that message from you. So they know that they're not alone, because they're not alone. I can't say what they've gone through. I've had my own personal childhood traumas, but as far as like on the job type, I can't relate to that, but I can relate to the trauma itself. But also going through losing my cousin and making this effort and this drive to help first responders to make a change. And it wasn't initially about the mental health side of it, because we didn't know. We had no idea until we started the podcast. And then we started talking with our guests, and they started delivering their messages. And then we realized there was a bigger issue going on. And that's what that's what Billy would have wanted me to do, was focus on that, not on him, because he doesn't want the attention.
That's right. Yeah, I'm not here for the attention. They won't remember my name or what I look like, but they'll remember my story.
Right. So that's why we do what we do, and we love our first responders. Yeah. And we're doing everything we can to help you guys succeed in life and get healthy.
Are you on Officer Down app?
No, I don't have that.
I'll send it to you. Every officer involved, death, they write a really good report, factual report, and it'll tell you how many officers died from what and what situations they were in when it happened. The only thing it doesn't cover is how many killed themselves with their own gun. And their numbers are staggering.
That's true. And that's one of the things that we talked about when the Lexington News came down and interviewed me when they found out about the podcast and why we were doing the podcast. We made mention of that. We talked about the suicide rates and how staggering they were. And you can check that out on Lex 18. If you go to Lex 18 website, 8158 podcast, you'll see it on there.
Well, my podcast is Red, Blue, and Brave. I'm on there with a former military. He did a career in firefighting. I did a career in law enforcement, so we have a lot in common. And we bring a little humor, because cops like to pick on firemen and back and forth. And he's been in my life for about 30 years, 25, 30 years. And we don't want to talk to the big speakers and the big authors. We want to go from station to station and say, let me talk to that K-9 officer or that 5-year veteran, because he's bound to have a traumatic event. Let's hear it. Let's see if we can walk him through it and give him some ideas. And it opens doors, because we're, a police and a fire podcasting.
Right. Speaking of firefighters, my dad was a firefighter in California, Clear Lake, California.
I don't have that job. It's too hot.
Yeah.
They're getting that suit, and I'd be like, let it burn.
Yeah, he did that job for a while, and he got hurt on the job, and then he got a job in Michigan for the county commission. So he worked for the county commission for 33 years.
Well,
retired.
A saying that I'll say multiple times is, you not rise to the occasion, but you will fall to the level of your training. And that is true as your career, as well as your spiritual life, as well as your family life. Get that training in. The brain can't make it up. It has to have something to pull from. And
Right.
you will not rise to the occasion. You know, people say, well, when I'm involved in this, I'll really do this. No, you won't.
You either will or you don't.
That's
Talk
right.
about it,
Mm-hmm.
but if there's no action, then you're not going
That's
to do
right.
anything about it.
Your brain can't make it up. So
That, it's kind of funny that you say that, is because when my wife, because after the funeral, I went to the viewing. My cousin, we drove, because we live in Kentucky. We drove all the way up to Michigan. As soon as I heard my stepmom, she called me and told me what happened, and I called work immediately, and I was just like, nope, I gotta go. And they're like, okay, do what you got to do. So fortunately, I have a job like that. I work for a small company, but they are family oriented, and I've been there for a while, so they know me and they trust me. And we headed straight up to Michigan the next day and went to the viewing, and I seen them there, and I was just devastated. And they had the changing of the guards. They're standing there,
awesome. I love that.
and I walked up to him, and the first thing I did was I grabbed his hand, and I was just dumbfounded. I couldn't believe it. He was the best of all of us kids, as I say. But he loved and cared about everybody. If you were the kind of guy that needed help, even if you were, if you're on drugs, if you're addicted to drugs, he would try to do everything
That's
to
right.
mentor you and help you.
Doing God's work. That's awesome.
Because he was just that kind of a person. So sad, but this obviously came about, and my wife told me, you should do a podcast. I was like, I don't know anything about podcasts.
Yeah, I don't either. I got people that are smarter than me figuring this out.
Yeah, I don't know anything about podcasts, but then here I am. I mean, this is our third season, and
that's awesome.
I'm not a very social person. Well, I used to not be.
Yeah.
You would never notice that, but I used to not be a very social person. I didn't like talking to people, just kept to myself. And, this actually changed my life. So his life impacted my life in a way that I never
That's
thought
right.
would ever happen.
Carry on the legacy, buddy.
I feel like I'm doing God's work, and I feel
That's
like
it.
I'm doing the wishes that my cousin would have wanted me to do, instead of, just being sad and constantly beating myself up, or just constantly causing trouble, or just hating and living a life full of hate. So we're doing something positive out of something that was negative. So, I mean, it's a hard work. It's hard work. It's a hard road. However, through that, other opportunities came about, and we never said no to any other opportunities. We just went with it.
That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where the Thin Line, I don't know if you ever heard of the Thin Line Rock Station.
Yeah.
My wife and I were both DJs on that station.
Oh, man.
And so we work with them, and we started our own radio station, and we gave an outlet to other first responders. So a lot of our DJs are first responders. That gives them an outlet to be on the radio station.
Perfect.
And then we're on a radio station up in Canada, which is Ontario, I believe. It's a local station up there, so we just do it remotely, and then we let them run it up there. So many different opportunities are coming about. Pretty awesome, I think.
It is.
And you said you run a podcast.
Yeah,
right?
I'm getting started on it. It's we're just waiting to get the bugs worked out of it. Mostly me. So
Okay.
don't say that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the other thing that we had established, was Slightly Unhinged Media Network. So what that is that we help people grow their podcasts, create podcasts, and we help them with, like, if they need like music or anything like that, put in their intros and outros or editing and all that stuff. We do all that stuff for them.
I will definitely be blowing your phone up.
So, yeah, if you go to the Slightly Unhinged Media Network, you can check it out there. Yeah, we definitely do all that stuff. And so we're trying to make that grow. because there's a lot of podcasts out there that are starting to do stuff about mental health.
That's right.
And we want that to be pushed out there.
There you go.
Huge.
All right.
But is there anything else you'd like to plug for us? Do you have any foundations or anything that you'd like to talk about?
You will not rise to the occasion, you'll fall to the level of your training, and your family doesn't want a folded flag and a casket. They want you. Do your job, and your job is to train for that occasion, because the suspect's gets to name the time and the place.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. You need to be ready for your family, because they'd rather have you at the supper table than have you propped up on a shelf with a flag.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, I walked her down the aisle.
And that is a blessing. I'm glad and I'm grateful for you. And I'm definitely grateful that God has, looked after you and watched out for you.
He's not done.
I know he has mine.
Yeah, he's not done with me yet. My book's not over. I'm just changing chapters.
Yeah, that's true. I know my wife's been pushing me to write a book about myself.
There you go. And I'd be interested in that. I'd rather hear that than some story that's not true. I don't understand how people do that, but okay.
Right. My story is pretty interesting, and it is very. It's hard. It was a hard life.
I have someone did the Audible for me, and you don't know who they are to the last sentence, and you'll go, "Wow!" So,
man,
special guest.
Special guest.
You have to buy the audio to listen to her.
Right. Yeah, my wife says that I should do my own.
Yeah,
that's hard on me.
I struggle reading, but there are apps out there to help you.
Yeah, same here. I hate reading scripts because I try to do it, and I'm just like, it gets frustrating. And I try to read them, and I'm like, it's going to take me forever to do it. But she said it would be more impactful if it was from me.
That's why people say that. So I'm not through yet. I'm sure I can still do it, but I got a couple other irons in the fire.
Yeah, but the dyslexia part of it.
That's it.
I call it dyslexia.
Yeah.
But I say that on a radio station, it gets people to laugh. So, but it's been fun, and you have to check it out. Slightly Unhinged Radio, and also the Thin Line Rock Station. Where if you go to that thinlinerockstation.com, you can see us on there as DJs, and also on Slightly Unhinged Radio. And you can check out the Slightly Unhinged Radio Media Network.
And I'm going to get your hashtags from you and blast you out on my social media platforms and spread the word. That's what we need to do. We don't need to just take it down to one speaker has all the control of what's going on, or one author. Everybody needs it, and the statistics show it. And so I'll be hounding you on
that'd be pretty awesome. I mean, so like on our end, what I do is like, especially if you wrote a book or if you have a foundation and you're on a podcast. So if you give us all that information, I could talk about it on the radio station.
I'll take care of that as soon as we hang up.
Go on to Thin Line Rock Station, and then I could talk, because I got 3 minutes to talk I got four tracks to do every hour, and I'm on there 4 hours twice a week. So I got 80-hour spot, and I got 3 minutes to talk, because they just let me tell stories and do all kinds of stuff. So I could plug anything that I want to, especially if it's first responder based. So,
all right, give me your address. I'll mail you a book and write a little note in the back of it. So
that'd be pretty awesome. And that's what we do, because we have other guys that wrote books and firefighters and stuff, and we plug them on the station and on socials and all that stuff. So we help each other out as much as we can.
That's right. You get paid for what you might have to do. Be prepared to do it.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I gotta roll. May God bless this podcast, and may God bless America.
Absolutely. God bless America, and God bless you as well.
Thank you.
We love you, brother. We thank you and appreciate you for coming on here, sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
It was an honor for us as well.
I'm humble, so thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You have a good one and a
All right.
blessed weekend.
I will. Thank you. We through recording?
Thank you for joining us on 8158 Stories of Sacrifice. Every story we share is a tribute to the courage and resilience of first responders and their families. If this episode impacted, encouraged, or inspired you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who supports first responders. Follow us on all social media platforms at 8158 Podcast for updates. 8158 Stories of Sacrifice is a team effort. Rico brings the stories to life through casting, writing, original music, and editing. Brianne Shipley as production manager, handling booking, social media, graphics, promotion, marketing, website management, and logo design. Please visit our website at 8158podcast.com. For questions, collaborations, or to share your story, our email address is contactus@8158podcast.com. Until next time, let's continue to honor the legacies and remember the sacrifices of those who serve, every brave man and woman on the front lines, protecting and defending us all. This is Rico signing off and honoring 8158.